Greetings and welcome back to Castlegoat. In the last episode, we managed to flesh out our construction industry. We've got it in pretty good shape at the moment. We're able to make most of the things that we're going to need to make other things that we will eventually need. We've also got the beginnings of a food and drink industry. Only the basics. We can make alcohol and we can make bread. That's pretty much all we can make with the kitchen at the moment, but later on we'll be able to start expanding that. However, our defences are in something of a sorry state at the moment. I mean, we've got the groundwork done, we've got the plans in place, but none of the walls have actually been finished, or at least not completely. So in this episode, our gnomes are going to be focusing on the defences for the most part, but there's going to be a slight difference between this episode and the last. Following some comments, I have re-enabled sound effects. Now, I've done some audio testing just to make sure that the levels seem to be alright, and for the most part, I think they are, but I haven't been able to test all of the sounds that are going to be generated. So do let me know if some of the sounds are a little bit too loud. I'm probably going to test this out for at least an episode or two, just to give the sounds a proper chance to grow on me, but I don't know if I'll be keeping them at the moment. But with all that said and done, let's get back to Castlegoat. Okay, we want a couple more crates actually, so how many planks are we going to need for this? We want... where are the crates? We are definitely going to need these for all the fruit that's being gathered at the moment. Let's have some pine crates. We're not going to make any ingredients for them, we're just going to wait until we've got them made. We want 4, so we'll let them get made. Now, I'm not sure if there's any sound effects for the workshops. There could be. I think I heard some just now, but we'll see. See if there's any when he's making this. No? No sound effects in the workshops? Well, okay. I'm not going to complain too much about that. In fact, I'm not going to complain at all, because that would probably get very annoying very quickly. But we'll go ahead and we'll build another crate there as well. Now, for the terrain, a few people have mentioned that building jobs have now been made a little bit more intelligent, in that they're not going to build something if it'll block them from building the rest. So we're going to put that to the test. And we're going to do that by having them build these 4 walls, though they might be a little bit busy over here. Oh, sudden foraging sounds. Yes, well, hopefully it's not coming through too loud. You can zoom out and it'll fade depending on where you are. It is kind of useful to know that stuff is happening, but when there's a lot of people doing one job, it does get a little bit discordant, but we'll see how that goes. Some other things we want to do is get rid of these ramps, because we want to build those up into walls, like so. And in this one, we're going to be working on the defences a bit. We've got plenty of food, well, which will hopefully be coming in once they've finished doing all of that. But in the meanwhile, we really do need to start getting the defences in order. We need to take away the ramps first and foremost. And these as well. Those ones, I guess, don't matter too much, but we'll get rid of them just for the sake of it. Take away of those as well. Actually, let's leave at least one of these there, otherwise they're not going to be able to get back down. Though, that would have been a good test for the system to see whether it would work properly. They finished? Oh, they have. Well done, you. I've done quite a lot of work up there. Now, hopefully, they'll notice that suddenly there's room to store things, and they'll rush over and try storing stuff in them. But, it looks like our woodcutter is having a bit of a walk to get wood, which is a bit of a problem. Hopefully someone will notice and get the wheelbarrow soon and fill up one of these crates with logs, so that our sawmill the person working on the sawmill doesn't have to walk too far. Now, for the kitchen, we want to set up a bunch of things. Firstly, wheat grain is no use to us whatsoever as grain. I don't really want a load of loaves of bread just hanging around though, because of the problems that you'll eventually have with mants. If you just make a huge stockpile of food, mants will become an issue. So we'll have them have at least 10 loaves of bread at any one time. And once we've actually got meat and eggs going and milk, well, actually we can make cheese right now if we want to. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. We'll have them make 10 of those as well. That'll use up our milk to make cheese, which is unfortunate, but I think we're okay with that. Distillery-wise, What's happening there? Was someone doing something? I don't know. I'm still not used to these sound effects. So, now as for the wine, we've got beer. We're not going to work on that yet. Not until we've got a much larger wheat field. Tea, you need mushrooms for. Mushroom tea. Honestly, not my first choice of thing to make tea out of, but I'm sure it tastes fine. But we do want wine, and I don't think it really matters to them what it's made of, so we're just going to say any type of fruit. But we want at least 50 wine at any one time. So they should get to that. That's giving quite a lot of people jobs to do, so it may impact on our ability. Ah, see? They have messed that up. Though the ramp might have messed it up a little bit, because the ramp does kind of ruin things a little. Let's mine this wall and get rid of this ramp. Problem with ramps is that you can't build off a ramp. What I mean by that is you couldn't stand on this ramp and build this wall. Whereas I think they can do that from the stairs. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's the way it works. But ramps are just a bane. They've caused me all sorts of problems with spider slaughter. I haven't forgiven them. Now, we want to fill this out. Well, actually, we don't want to fill it all the way out. We only want to fill it partially. In fact, what am I doing? I want to build. We only really need to do this wall here. So we'll get that one done and then put flooring over the rest of it. So we'll get that added on as well. And that will be our entrance. And I will show you soon what my plan is with that. I'm hoping it's going to work. If it does, it'll give us an early warning system and a way to kind of bottleneck and create a choke point for invasions. But we'll get the actual tunnel built before I start going into the specifics of it. Now, there are digging noises, and we've got some foraging noises going over there. On the whole, I think our food issue is solved. Someone did point out that we only had 9 food in the towards the end of the last episode, but given the amount of fruit that's on the map, I really don't think we need to worry about food at all. And the other thing is obviously grain isn't counted as food until it's made into bread. Now we're going to get rid of this ramp here. And actually, we're going to get rid of this wall as well, just so that we can get to the tree. Because otherwise it'll annoy me. And then we'll rebuild the wall. Once we've gotten rid of the tree. Let's fell that tree. Okay, as I said, I'm not going to go to the effort of completely walling this off for now. Just because that'll add a lot more time to this than I really want to spend doing it. But what we do need to do is we need to build floors. Again, out of dirt. We don't want to use up any clay, if we've got any clay at this point. And we also want to build this wall out. Now this will be a reasonable test of it. If they're derps, they'll build that wall first and let's block that one off. If they're not, then they'll build that one first and it all will be well. We'll see how it goes. Now, where is everyone? Everyone is getting distracted by the jobs I'm giving them, unfortunately. Have they filled these up yet? No, they haven't. That is a bit disappointing, honestly. But it comes down a bit to the priorities. Hauling is always a fairly low priority, especially with the stuff that I showed you earlier. That is on the custom professions I've got hauling fairly low. Maybe I should increase that, but by and large, if there's other jobs to do, then generally they should be doing that. He's stuck in the wall. Okay, you're about to... No, you didn't break it? Okay. I'm not sure I trust everyone who's been saying that their AI for building is improved. It looks quite derpy for me. But we will play around with it a little bit longer. I'll give it a little bit more time to prove itself before I shun it. Okay. Now, did they derp out over here? No, they haven't gotten there yet. Now, there was a monitor lizard over here somewhere. Hopefully, it's off, causing no trouble to anyone else. Unless there are goblins on the map. Maybe there's a honey badger somewhere for it to fight. I wouldn't mind that at all. Because then I could go and capture its sweet, sweet bones. Because unfortunately, you really, really do need bones early on, but it's very, very hard to get them. Because fighting is so dangerous. And you don't really want to kill your starter yaks. Let's see, we just need one there. That should be good. And as soon as you're done there, actually that's excellent, well done. We'll just get this wall going. And then we'll do much the same down here as I was doing over there. And that is we'll add a little way up from the inside so I can wall it off properly. In fact, let's go to the build menu down here so I'm not navigating that menu all the time. And we want dirt. There we go. And floors, and again, dirt. I will probably be making a little art room again, as I did with Spider Slaughter, just so I can see how things will look when I make them out of certain blocks. I think it's actually quite a good idea, honestly. I forget who it was who suggested it to me, but it was definitely a very good idea, and I thank you for that. Now, these walls are actually starting to get fleshed out now, and I'm quite happy with that. So this one will be a bit of a pain. Because I am definitely going to need exactly what I was having a problem with before. I'll get all of that built now. So yes, this episode looks like I'll be spending a lot of time just getting the walls made. But on the plus side, once they are made, it's going to be a huge, huge boon for the settlement because they'll actually be safe, more or less. They'll not be completely safe, obviously, but as near as damn it. Now, whilst they're doing that, I can have my miner's mine. And what we want is a 2-wide corridor going all the way back here and then entering at this little bit here. I'm not sure if I'm going to... Well, yeah, I want it to be 2 because ultimately we probably want quite a lot of ability to move in and out, especially when we've got loads of nomads coming through. And it just looks nicer, I think. We'll also want to remove those ramps. Digging sounds. Quite rhythmic there. I'm not sure I approve, really, but we'll see. Now, we just need a... Whoa. A bear has been spotted. Where? Up here? Run away from the bear. Thank goodness. Thank you for pointing out that I should definitely tell them to do that. It was wise. Unfortunately, you've got to go a long way in order to build that wall. I should have planned that a little bit better, really. Never mind. The exercise will be good for you. Right. Now then, over here is ready for the stairs up. And we're only going to take it too high. And eventually I'm going to have to redesign this anyway, because ultimately I want to have the walls in a position that I can actually patrol them. And that is not going to happen if I just leave it like this, because goblins and things can get up onto those walls. But as far as I'm aware, they haven't yet learned how to make ranged weapons, so we don't have to worry about that at least. If I'm wrong about that, please do let me know, because that would completely scupper my plans. But we'll run under the assumption that they can't do that yet. And finish off that wall. And I'll just add this for when they're done with this wall. Okay. But it looks like they've got more stuff to harvest, which is good in a way, bad in another way. Because no one is bloody storing anything. Okay, I'm going to have to increase the... Will you please build something? Why will you not build? There we are. I'm going to have to increase the hauling priority. So, let's go to the pioneers, I think. Pioneers, for the time being, I want hauling to be your third highest priority. So, mining, chopping down trees, hauling. Ah, glorious. Things are actually getting done. I should have done this a long time ago. Okay. Now, unfortunately, these barrels are going to be filled up very, very quickly. I think they've already been filled up. No. Ooh, close. Not far off. Oh, those wheelbarrows make a hell of a difference, though. Okay. Right. Oh, you've actually got some cheese there. That's fantastic. It's the first time I've seen cheese, really. Okay, let's... oh, I didn't want to click there. Oh, I see. The sound effect is when you click on the workshop, not when someone's working in it. Fair enough. Let's get a ramp down up here, and then I'll remove those ramps as well. But things are looking okay so far. It does seem that they are being a little bit more intelligent on the whole with what they're doing. And I approve of this. Though they are walking a very long way outside, and I'm not sure why. What's in these crates? That's full. That is now full. That's full. Okay. We need to get some more crates made. And we've got another one. So mostly it looks like they're bringing in the wood, which I suppose I asked for. So that's fine. But hopefully we'll be able to get in some of the fruit as well. Oh wow, there is an awful lot of wood out there actually. It's going to be a while before we can get all of that in. How many planks have we got? It doesn't really matter. Let's just go to the carpenter, get a bunch of crates made. Where are you, crates? Now, it looks like we've got... yeah, we'll keep going with pine, I think. And again, we'll turn off the auto-crafting. Oops. So I don't want to specifically be making pine for this. At this point, they're probably making pine primarily anyway, because I keep pulling it down below 5 planks, so it keeps being a priority. As for our drinks, our barrels actually can store quite a lot, and they haven't stored that much, so it's exactly 50 at the moment, so I guess that's not too bad on the whole. It is what I've asked for, and that means that most of the fruit is being left for food, which is a good thing. Now then, as far as our bricks, I don't think we've actually got many left, so we probably want some more to be mined from up here. So I'll set that up now rather than later. There we go. Alright, so it looks like it's about time for me to fade to black while I let these guys build some things. I shall bring you back if anything interesting happens. Well, that would be a big nope on the whole... The gnomes are a bit smarter when they build things. I just managed to catch one from starving himself to death because he'd removed all the ramps, thus removing a way for him to get back down because these floors weren't built and neither were these ones. So he was feverishly trying to build these floors using the dirt from the ramps he removed. Stupidly, he decided to try and build these ones where he needed many more than these ones where he had enough dirt to have finished the floor. Anyway, I found him there, just there, starving, hungry, so I mined that wall so I let him out. Stupid gnome. He's off sleeping for now. Who was it? Who was it? Show me yourself. It was you. It was Dapper Muckjester. Muckjester! Ah, I expect better of you. But anyway, he has not died, thankfully. No thanks to him, though. All me. You owe me your life. Well, maybe not, but consider I told you to do that anyway. But anyway, this has been finished off. I think I did that on camera, and I've just been generally watching them finish things or just do the floors and the walls and potentially kill themselves. And I think about this point, we want to start work on our grove, actually. Because if we don't start this soon, it'll get pretty difficult to start it because we won't have any clippings. So we want a small groves to begin with. We'll have pine grove here. That's good enough. It really doesn't matter what priority make them. So I'll make the ones for wood chopping a fairly generic priority. And we'll have birch there. But the fruit ones, we're going to let them mature. We don't want those ones to be cut down. So we'll have one about here. And we'll make this an orange grove. And I don't want this one felled or even cut clippings. I want you to just get the fruit from that one. I've put it in the bad place. We'll put the other one over here, I guess. Or we would, just as soon as this is done. Doesn't take very long to save, thankfully. We'll have apples over here. Cut clippings and fell trees are off. There we go. We want these ones to be a slightly higher priority, though. Let's make those priority 4. We'll do them both on priority 4. Eventually, I'll set them up properly, and they can have certain priorities depending on what type of wood or what type of fruit I specifically want. But for now, that should do okay. Now then, we've finished off the wall over here and I've expanded it out a little bit. And is there anything else? No, everything else seems to be okay for the most part. Now, what I'm going to be doing with the early warning system... Oh, we've got 3 nomads! How fantastic! Just what we need. They should be able to just come straight in. No? Don't want to? Please don't tell me you're stuck on a part of the map that you can't get away from. Please don't tell me that. Is there a way down? No, there should be a way down. I hope. It's hard to tell. Oh, there's a monitor lizard between you and that. This is not going good. Okay. Well, I'm going to quickly flick to my list and get the random number generator rolling and find out who has been lucky enough to join the fort. I shall be back in a moment. And here we are. Right. As it happened, the random number generator decided to pick numbers that were generally fairly high on the list. So that is high numbers. We've got Deathbot. So we're going to rename Kato as Deathbot. There we are. We've also got Arch XL. So Golt will now be Arch XL. And finally, Fizzlet. Oh, that's an awesome name. Fizzlet shall be Leo the Jester. There you go. Welcome to the fort. Now to discover what skills you have. Weapon crafting, that's actually pretty good. Prospecting, wood cutting, smelting, butchery, medic, carpentry. Well, I'm going to add you to the pioneers. What were you? No, you're going to be provisioner. And, well, wood cutting. I'll put you in the pioneers for now. There we go. Get to work. Please don't go past the monitor lizard. No, balls. The monitor lizard decided to fight you. No, good. Don't try to walk past the you're worrying me. Please don't kill yourselves. I don't have enough of you to waste you on monitor lizards, okay? Finally, they're in the fort. All is well. And things are being done. That is glorious. Now, hopefully these are all going to be planted, and we can actually get to the important part of discussing what the plan was for my early warning system. And that is quite simply to have, let's see, where are you? We're going to make a pasture right up against this wall, and it's going to run the length of the wall, though perhaps I'll make them smaller pastures in time. But for now, it'll be a very long, large pasture. It'll be a yak pasture. How many can I have? 12. That's actually pretty good. Okay. So we're all right with this. Whatever priority, it doesn't really matter. Now, we're going to remove the designation of this pasture, and hopefully someone will go and grab those yaks and take them over there. Yes, both of them. Well done. Now, here is the tricky bit. The reason I've got the yaks here is because I want them to warn us if something moves past. I believe animals throw up a warning. That is, they will spot goblins in the same way that a gnome will spot goblins. It's just the animals now will not turn into death squads. They will just run away. Fair enough. Gnomes will do the same thing, so I really can't blame them. Well, they will if they're not in the military. But what we're going to do is we're going to make windows, effectively, that the yaks can see the goblins coming through. That'll be my early warning system, and I'll know to have everyone rally in the eventual barracks room. The way we're going to do that is we're going to make some pillars. Where are you, pillars? Is it in here that I find those? No? Damn it, do I need a different workshop? Possibly I do. Okay, we're going to need that's the stonecutter, stonemason, so we're going to need a stone carver workshop. Which means we're going to need to find out exactly what things this stone carver needs. Chair, chisel, workbench. Okay, that's not too bad. So, will you please make me a chair? and a chisel. Unfortunately, you can't make me the workbench, so it'll have to be you to do that. The workbench will be a higher priority, though. And we want this made out of... Well, pine would be the cleverest thing, because otherwise it's never going to get done. So we'll pop that way up there, turn off craft materials, so... Hopefully that will work. Actually, I best turn these off, really. We'll just cancel those, just make sure the pine workbench gets done. And if that's the case, we won't make it out of pine either. Where are you? We will make it out of applewood. There we go. Make me an applewood workbench, please. How many crates have we got? We've got one extra crate, so we'll build that as well. Storage, crate. One crate. Pop it there. And whilst we're waiting on that, I think we should probably get rid of some of this dirt as well. You can now set clear, a job for clearing things. I'm not sure where it was. Let's see. No, it's not there. There is a task for clearing. Might be under... Nope. Ah, damn it. I can't find it now. Ah, it's right in front of me the whole time. This is how unobservant I am. Clean floor. Basically, if you designate an area to be cleaned, then things from that area will be picked up first. So if I made a dirt stockpile and I said clean this tunnel first, oh my lord, then that would be the first thing done. Okay, got a goblin and he's got a weapon. Needless to say, everyone should be attacking him, but we've got a couple of people who aren't in squads. Okay, let's get that all set up. The gory knitters, you've got one space. Were any of our new nomads female? Let's see, Deathbot, male. Leo the Jester, male. And ArchXL, female. Okay, ArchXL is joining the gory knitters. Well done, ArchXL. Let's get you in there, and then we'll make a new squad. So this is going to be the first fight. Could have been at a better time, honestly, but never mind. Now, we want a new squad. What is the name? The Hammering... I was about to say Hammering Sacks, and that was totally going in the wrong direction. The Hammering Snacks, no. Lacy Sheens, no. Beguiled Campties, no thanks. The Acing Shelters of Camp. That name is just too good to pass up, honestly. Okay. So, Deathbot and Leo the Jester, you are now the new soldiers in the Acing Shelters of Camp. Well done. Welcome to the military. Get to fighting. Now, hopefully, this is going to go okay, because we're going to have a lot of people piling on these... Ooh, he's the bigger problem. You really need to kill him fast, because his axe will do horrific damage. Okay, he's already been unarmed. Ooh, combat sounds, craziness. Please let none of my gnomes be bleeding to death. Are you all okay? Is there blood? No blood? My lord, well done. Let's check that out. Okay, the first combat. Goblin vs. Aavak. The goblin picks up a dirt clump. You made the wrong move. Right, let's see this. Group fight. Oh, someone was up. Alana punches the goblin, hitting the upper body, smashing the skin and crushing the right lung. The goblin is suffocating. The goblin is dead. Well done, Alana. He took him out with a punch. I must confess, that is pretty awesome. And then Dapper McJester swings with his copper pickaxe at the goblin, hitting the upper body, poking the skin, poking the ribs, and piercing through the heart. The goblin's upper body is bleeding. The goblin has died. Well done, Dapper Jester. Now, to find out if any of our gnomes took any serious wounds. No pink text for us so far. I'm assuming that most of you have seen these combat texts before, though having said that, I know there are a couple of people who are new to the Gnomoria series. Oh, Leo the Jester's right arm is bleeding. I'm going to have to check on you, make sure you're not still bleeding. Tamiz picks up dirt log, Sheila picks up the dirt clump. Beat him with whatever you can, honestly. I don't mind. Aavak's right hand is bleeding. No! Damn it. Aavak and Leo the Jester are the ones we need to look at. Now, let's have a look down this way. No. Made a sape? No, made sape is good. She picked up the Warhammer. Well done. Goblin's right eye has been mangled and she is temporarily blinded. Who did that? ArchXL managed to kick the Goblin in the eye. Well done, ArchXL. Welcome to the fort, you ninja crazy freak, you. Ooh, left eye's been mangled. Aavak punched him. Yes. Good old punching. None of this karate shenanigans. Okay, now we need to check on 2 people. Aavak, please don't be bleeding. No, phew, we must have had some bandages. And what about Leo? Also okay? Yes. Right, well, unfortunately, the goblins are starting to arrive. Thankfully, they're not arriving in very large numbers, though they were reasonably armed. That axe was a bit of a fright to me. Just regular weapons, not too much of a problem, like the Warhammer. I mean, it could give some nasty wounds, but the axe can actually sever limbs. So, we definitely need to get the defenses finished now then. It is no longer something that we can dilly-dally about. So, the last few moments, I'm just going to get a couple of these walls built. This one just to seal that area off. And over here, they're still going to be able to get down, but it's not going to be too much of an issue, I don't think. The main thing is that as soon as... Oh, I better get that one built there as well. Oh no, I best take that one away because they've got those 2 to do. Damn it. Can they get over there? Yes, they can. Okay, well, hopefully they'll get those done soon. But the main thing now is to make sure that they can't get into the fort except through that tunnel. But before we end this episode, because I was already starting to discuss it, we will be using pillars. Pillars effectively block travel, but don't block sight. So we're going to be dotting pillars all along this wall. We will also be replacing the wall with brick. And then, in fact, I might actually move that wall back one off camera. But effectively, the hope is, as the goblins are traveling down this tunnel, the yaks will eventually spot them. That will give me warning, and I'll be able to tell everyone to gather in the barracks area, waiting for the goblins to come around the corner. We will actually have a dedicated military here eventually. That's the plan anyway. Whether we can afford to take a gnome off actual building duty, it remains to be seen, but hopefully we will. Now, what I would really like is if they brought in all of that fruit and those logs, and then we could seal that part of the wall up. In fact, we can do that now. It's just they're going to have a very long walk whilst that's happening. But I think I'll leave the logistic concerns of hauling for the next episode. In this episode, Castlegoat has finally met its primary enemy in the goblins of, well, we don't really know where they come from, because dead goblins don't tend to tell you that sort of thing. But in addition to the fact that we now have a goblin force that will probably repeatedly attack us every nightfall or every other night, we've also got our first set of nomads, or migrants if you will. Only 3 at the moment, but that isn't too surprising given that we haven't got a great haul yet, but that's something that we can work on. First though, I think we really need to bump up the priority of finishing off our defences, at least to the point that we've got only one way into the fort. However, I think the gnomes of Castlegoat have earned a rest, a few moments to catch their breath and to reflect on the awesomeness of watching Alana punch a goblin so hard in the chest that his lung collapsed. I'll leave you with that mental image. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you'll join us for the next. But until then, do take care.